So, we all know the Western Conference is extremely competitive, but when we analyze all the teams and who poses the biggest threat, I honestly believe the Denver Nuggets have one of the hardest offenses to guard in the league. With all the ways they can exploit the defense, it makes scheming against them difficult for opposing teams, and as we all know, when you have one of, if not the best player in the league on your team, this is when you have a significant advantage on anyone you come across. Nikola Jokic can manipulate any team in multiple ways, Jamal Murray can come alive and be an electrifying scorer, and then when you pair that with all the role players that make this puzzle complete, this is a recipe for success. With an offensive rating of 119.5, this puts the Denver Nuggets at 3rd in the league, and with them having a 60% true shooting percentage, putting them at 2nd in the league, along with their 2nd place assist to turnover ratio, it shows you that this team has chemistry to pour the buckets in at an effective rate. Now we all know Nikola Jokic leads this team on a nightly basis with his triple-double averages, but it's really the connectivity this team has that makes them so dangerous. When watching this play here, you're going to see Jokic point to MPJ, which is a signal to Bron to look for him off this back screen, and right here is where you have to make a decision if you're the defense. Either the big has to commit to helping out on MPJ, or it needs to drop low to contain Jokic. Because if you play the middle like he does here, well now you allow Jokic to slip right to the basket to add 2 points to the board. I know, it may seem simple, but plays like this are highly effective. Because if the defense doesn't communicate and guys like Kyle Lowry just stay attached to their man on the screen, this makes it hard for Reggie to get back and also confuses him as he's unaware of his man cutting back door, and here comes an easy layup for Watson. This unselfish nature they play with does wonders for the Nuggets as they're always looking for the next open man while other guys continue to make themselves available. So here when Murray gets doubled in the mid-range, Russ immediately turns back to the middle of the floor to give him a relief option, and upon catching, this makes Yabusele step up as he doesn't want to give Russ a wide open look, but ultimately he gives up an even better shot, and that's Jokic right on the backside. I understand that the defense wants to do their best to take away any openings, especially if a player is catching right in the middle of the floor, but you have to understand personnel, and just because you rotate to take away one player doesn't mean it's the best option, as now you're giving up a wide open lob that Gordon ends up cleaning up with the putback. These actions for the Nuggets can play out from anywhere on the floor as their offense just moves in a flow state, and like we stated earlier, when you have an MVP on your team, it does magical things. Because now defenders are more geared to focus on said player, which happens to be the passing savant Nikola Jokic. So now with Kelly Oubre and Yabusele miscommunicating, Jokic could choose to shoot this one at the top of the key, but with MPJ uncovered right in front of the basket, I'm sure we all know what's the better option. I truly find it amazing that defenses just allow themselves to have collapses like this, as all it does is grant perfect angles for one of the best passers to complete the read, and I'm sure most of you would assume this one is going down to Russ like we just seen happen with MPJ on the last play, but this here adds even more context as why it's so important to have someone of Nikola's stature on your team. Because with him realizing that Murray is sliding over to help, opposed to staying with the hot shooter in the corner, here's where Jokic used the no look to find Porter, and this one right here is straight cash. It's one thing to be able to run plays to hit the correct person in the action, but in basketball, one of the most important skill sets is the ability to read and react in a quick manner to what the defense does. You'll see on this play that Jokic ends up surrounded by 3 defenders in the paint, and hey, the most obvious thing to do here would be to hit Murray in the corner, opposed to trying to force a reverse layup, but this is where the gap between great and elite players is shown. Because who would have thought to hit MPJ in this crowded area which throws off the defense, and now it's a warm-up late. There's just so many times in the game where Jokic pulls off things you didn't expect, such as on this post-up on Banchero. Nikola could bully his way into the paint for a hook shot, but as soon as the defense comes to help, Jokic knows he has an open man on the backside, and with a pass over his head, he connects with Gordon for the jam.
And it's Gordon with the dunk.
Yeah, trust me, Jokic is no stranger to these nice passes, especially these ones over his head, as when he attracts those doubles, he already knows where he wants to go next, so that's why without even looking, he can find Murray right in the paint for the easy deuce.
Oh my goodness, Nikola Jokic with a magician's vision.
Say what you want about him, some people will say he's boring, not that entertaining, and some will even discredit his game. But for those of us that know, Nikola Jokic is one of those guys that can influence the game in any way he wants while making things look quite easy. He'll fool the defense with a fake shovel pass to MPJ here, which makes the bonus open up, giving Jokic room to breathe. And with the defense always looking to see what he'll do next, they tend to forget about the man they're supposed to be guarding. So that's when this Bron cut from the wing becomes highly effective. As the defense, you have no room to gamble or not be paying attention to what's going on, as you might assume you have your man covered and took away the pass he wants to make, but he'll then show you why patience is one of the best things in this sport, as he waits until Strawler cuts all the way through with his defender's back turned, and once again, it's a layup in close. Yeah, it's truly unbelievable how good Joker is at basketball. His passing is something that will totally break defenses time and time again, but it's not only his facilitating that gives the defense problems. If he needs to, Jokic will insert his will by scoring the ball, and that can come in many different ways. If a defender is right up on him trying to deter him from scoring, he has no problem bullying his way inside for the hook over the top. When two defenders try and stop him, well, they stand no chance as he'll power right through for the and one.
Is what got the three for Yabusele.
And if he doesn't want to bang down low and get all bruised up and wants to take an easier route, he'll go ahead and fade over the top for pure butter. I truly can't stress it enough about how important it is to have a guy you can center your offense around who can do anything he wants. And the most special part about it is that he makes life easier for everyone around him, and this is where having guys that complement him come in handy. Instead of Jokic doing all the creating now, Russ is able to put pressure on the defense to then dump it off to Nikola for a bucket, and don't get it twisted. If he needs to, Russ will aggressively attack the rim to go score as well. A lot of media and fans try to paint Russ in a bad light like he was the bad person, but this Nuggets fan base and team has welcomed him with open arms while allowing him to be himself. Whether he's scoring the ball, making hustle plays, or setting up guys for easy shots, Westbrook acts as the glue guy to this team, which is extremely valuable. This option to have another guy playmake for the team helps take some of that load off Jokic, and when it comes to taking pressure off Nikola in terms of scoring the ball, well, that's where we've seen Jamal Murray start to come alive. And hey, not only has it been Murray, as MPJ has been catching fire as of late, and that showcased why this team loves to have him. For starters, Murray was dealing with an injury and conditioning issues last year, which is why we didn't see him at his fullest strength, but don't let that fool you into thinking Murray isn't a straight bucket when he walks on the floor. His ability to create in the mid-range, inside, and outside is something the defense has trouble figuring out, because at any time, he could initiate a snatchback to create all this space for a jumper. If you play up too high to get ready for the screen, well, he can blow by you with a tween dribble to then go complete this nasty reverse.
Through the lane, up under and in. What a beautiful bucket.
And then once you're ready to defend the drive, here comes a step back to go ahead and cash in from deep. The amount of ways Murray can pick apart the defense with his scoring is truly endless. I know when people talk about crafty players in the league, you never really hear Murray's name brought up, but I definitely believe he deserves to be in the conversation. He may not be the fastest, shiftiest, or the most athletic guy, but Murray understands how to carve out angles to score and will make the defense look lost at times. This level of scoring comes from having supreme confidence, and what better player to share that confidence with other than Michael Porter Jr. Like seriously, we all know MPJ to be that guy who is not passing up a single shot, and I truly mean it. MPJ doesn't have a single look on the floor he doesn't think is a good shot, and this lets him play freely without being intimidated. The way he can pour in buckets from deep is key for this team, as he makes 41% of his 6 threes per game, which opens up the court massively, letting the Nuggets have a more free-flowing offense. You'll see these times where defense will be so worried about his three-point shooting that he can now utilize the back cut at any time since he'll be eager to get outside, which leaves him open for a layup. And hey, always remember, if you aren't crowding him completely when he's outside, well, go ahead and chalk up 3 points. This level of scoring and playmaking from all these guys makes this Nuggets team very difficult to figure out, and this is where all of you come in. As we all know, the Nuggets have many guys who contribute and play their role perfect for the team, and I want you to tell me what player or players do you think are important to this team's success. I want to discuss this in the comments with everybody and see whose comment gets the most likes for the reasonings of the players they choose. With All-Star break wrapping up, it's time to get the back half of the season started, and what better way to stay up to date than to subscribe to Hoop Mastery while turning on post notifications so you're first to know when I upload. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and I thank you all for your support.